welcome to this training video brought to you by Spot Training, teaching you to do more anywhere. My name's Josh. I'm going to be coaching you today through the side split and progressions, regressions thereof, including the butterfly. The side split is something that is pretty fantastic to see. I know a lot of people seek it, and it's pretty hard to attain. Most of us spend a lot of our time seated, especially if you're a student or have been in the past, which is just about all of us really. That tends to create tension from keeping your knees together and your hips at a 90-degree angle, and over time that progresses to a lack of mobility. When you're able to open up your side split, though, it's going to help you with a lot of the foundational motions, particularly lateral motions. But the squat, the side lunge, the lunge, opening up that range of motion is going to allow more muscle recruitment because you can't snap a rubber band until you pull it back, right? So this motion will help with relieving tension in your hips in addition to increasing your performance. But yeah, if you do suffer from lower back pains and tension inside of that lower end of your abdomen, you might think it's your back, but really it's what's around it. And what's around it is your hips. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at these videos. We're going to break down some of the mechanics and things that I've done successfully, and also look at the things that I'm not so successful at. That way we can, embrace our failures and learn to grow from them. Alright, so one of the baselines, the easiest places to start for most people is going to be the butterfly stretch. The butterfly stretch is basically doing a split with half of your leg. Because your knee is bent during the butterfly stretch, you can see right here, the knee is obviously bent. This part, let me get my drawing tool. This part right here, below the knee, has no tension in it whatsoever. This is basically a nice big blob. But right here, I'm experiencing plenty of tension. When you extend those legs out to the side, you're going to notice immediately a lot more tension inside of that motion. So this is going to allow me to focus a lot more on just my hips, just that groin, just that inside of my thigh. It's not as intense of a stretch because it doesn't require as much fascial recruitment, but it is still highly effective. Now, the big thing with the butterfly, and you can see I'm doing a good job here because of my cueing, is maintaining alignment in your spine. When you hunch over and you round your back, you're just creating less alignment. But you can see that I'm pulling my shoulders back and creating this nice tight tension right here and a nice tight tension right here, which is going to open up all of that groin for me. Okay, so make sure to keep your back straight. You don't want to be stretching your back when you're doing these motions. How you do your workouts, I've always said, and how you align during your workouts is going to affect how you align in real life and in real life motions. It's no different with your stretches. How you align during your stretches is going to affect how you align outside of your stretches when you're sitting on the couch with your legs crossed or anything like that. Okay, so make sure to keep on that. Now I'm reaching over and across right now, and twisting to the left. So what that's going to do, I'm creating this little twisting motion right here, and that's going to trail down, and it's going to pull into one side of my hip, creating tension in one side. This is something that is pretty crucial because a lot of us tend to put our right foot forward when we're walking, when we're, grabbing something from the floor, when we're sitting at the couch. And because of that, that favoritism in that right foot is going to trail up into our right knee, is going to trail up into our right hip. So when you're knocking out these stretches, if you do feel like you might have one side tighter than the other, and I guarantee that you probably do, you can add this little variation to increase the tension more towards one side than the other and allow yourself to recognize where the areas of improvement are, where the failures might be, so you can embrace them. Embrace them. And alright, so here's the big enchilada. Here's the full side split. And as you can see, I'm first going for that alignment once again. You want to make sure that you're getting that extension out of your back. That way you're pulling from both ends of the area that you're trying to stretch. Now that I've got the extended leg as well, I'm getting a nice big pull through the extension of the leg, and that's going to emphasize this stretch really huge on the inner thigh and on my groin, and also on Poppy right there. But yeah, nonetheless, you get the idea. Keeping that alignment is just going to prove more tension, prove more fruitful for that stretch. All right, and once again, I'm adding variation to it. What this is going to do is it's going to create tension going off to this side through my spine, and then it's going to reflect right here as tension in my groin, allowing me to emphasize one side over the other. And this is important because, once again, we have favoritisms. We have favoritisms inside of our legs. So when you're looking at your stretches, make sure that you're trying to get those favoritisms involved. All right, and I'm going into that standing split next with a flat back, crawling my arms back. Something that can be a little bit problematic with this one, I think it's more so the angle that's the issue here, but you still want to make sure you're keeping a nice flat back. It does look like my hips are higher than my shoulders, which they should be, but for the most part, I want to make sure that I'm keeping a nice flat back. And then another issue, once again, I do have flat feet. You want those toes pointed straight ahead. That way you're creating the tension inside of your back of your thigh. But because of those flat feet, you can see that my knee's caving in a little bit. I might have to think about that next time and externally rotating my knee. That way I'm not impinging right here on my joint. And instead I'm creating tension inside of my inner thigh to prevent that impingement of the joint. Okay, so going into that side split on this one, it's looking like I'm getting a little bit lazy inside of my alignment inside of my feet. So once again, I have tight feet, I have flat feet, I have issues inside of my legs, and right here you can see that my toe is just relaxed. It's just pointed straight out. And when you point that toe up and towards your face, what it's going to do is create tension going down this ankle and down this calf, so that way you are involving more fasciae. And not only that, you're getting a much more effective stretch, but it's going to relieve the tension inside of that ankle. It's going to relieve my Achilles tendon, and in the long run, it's going to improve my mobility on the lowest part of my extremities, not just on my inner thigh. Despite the fact that's what the split is mostly about, is the groin. If you want to get a more effective split for your full body, involve your full body. Okay, get that toe pointed straight up, get that back aligned, get those toes pointed back. Okay, definitely something I need to look at. I used to be able to do a full split, and I haven't been able to as of late. Might be related to my feet and my ankles. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to love that failure and embrace it. Okay, so right here, definitely trying to show off and really get into that deep split. But with those kinds of actions, expect a reaction. It's not as ideal for my feet and my knees. You can see my knee is it's kind of drooping a little bit. The split itself is plenty capable inside of my hips. My hips are having a great time with the split. But my knees and my feet, they're not quite getting the support that they need. So this stretch is definitely fun to look at and cool to show off. But in this case, it's definitely something that I ended up struggling with. Let's see how long I last. Yeah, see, I'm already trying to reset after just pressing play. And it's because of the discomfort that I'm feeling it. And you can see right here, right there, on that right knee, that I am contracting as we go along. Trying to get some more comfort going on inside of that knee, likely because I was feeling impingement. Okay, so showing off and looking cool is one side of fitness, but it's not the side of fitness that we try to teach here at Spot Training. Once I got to my reset, my feet are looking a lot better. They're looking a lot more supportive of my knee right here. So that's very nice, you know. And that's what we want out of the stretch. We want to feel the stretch inside of our muscles and inside of our muscle lining, our fasciae, but we don't want to feel it inside of our knees. We don't want to build impingement inside of our joints, okay? All right, and that's going to be it for the training and coaching portion of the side split. Now, again, to go over some keynotes on it, I want you to make sure you're keeping a nice flat back when you're doing your butterfly, when you're doing your split. And you're going to find that's a common theme in a lot of the workouts, is keeping a flat back. Now, that being said, that's not the only thing you have to do. Make sure your knees and your feet are in alignment. Myself in particular, I tend to have a lot of issues with maintaining that lower extremity alignment. What this is going to do is make this stretch more effective on your muscles rather than impinging on your joints. So if you do have any other questions, or you want some more progressions or regressions for the split, feel free to shoot me a message. Email me at joshua.james.casas@gmail.com. Try to communicate with me on how your experiences were. I want to know that you're stretching in your muscles and you're not just going into these positions and throwing yourself all out of whack in alignment. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for joining me on this training portion of alignment. Catch you on the next training video.